Hi there, thanks for stopping by today. My name is Luann. Well, if you love that rich and creamy, deep flavor of homemade, old-fashioned apple butter, but you just don't have all day, or in some cases all night, to make it at home for yourself, then today's video may be just for you, because I'm going to show you how, in just a few simple steps, using the Instapot, we can have that good old-fashioned flavored apple butter in very little time. Well, thanks again for stopping by and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you just how easy we can make that good old-fashioned apple butter right in the Instapot. Now, I have memories of my whole family coming together, and we would go outside and build a fire and put the big kettle, the big black heavy cast iron kettle right on that fire, and everyone would take turns stirring the pot. And this was an all-day process. My grandmother had her own little apple orchard. I think it had maybe 4 or 6 apple trees. And we would all peel the apples, throw them in the pot, and make that good old-fashioned apple butter. Well, I don't know about you, but I just don't have that kind of time, and I'm always trying to find a more efficient way to get the same result. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video, and I'm going to show you how to make it right at home for yourself in the Instant Pot. We're going to start out by cleaning and sanitizing the sink. Once the sink is good and clean, go ahead and fill it with some cool water. To this cool water, we're going to add a half a cup of white vinegar. This is going to help get your apples very, very clean and rid of all the pesticides and wax buildup. Now you can add your 4 pounds of apples. I used Gala, but you can use Honeycrisp, Fuji, or Golden Delicious. You're going to let those apples soak for at least 10 minutes. After they've finished soaking, just inspect each apple and remove any bruising or bad spots. Okay, once you get your apples nice and clean and dry, the next step is going to be to core them. Now, you can peel them if you want, but it is absolutely not necessary, and actually it's preferred to leave the peelings on it because that's what's going to add to that deep, rich flavor. Now, you can do this with a knife, or I'm going to try to do this with my apple corer. If you don't have one of these, I will link one down below and you can check that out. But these apples may be a little small, and I don't want to waste them. Let's see, I can get a little bit off of there. But yeah, I think that worked out okay. So this is going to speed up the process pretty much if you have an apple corer that you can use. You can see here, it divided them up nicely, and I'll just take these. I'm probably going to go ahead and cube these up a little bit more. But that sure did save a lot of time doing it that way. I'm going to just cut each one of these halves twice. Let me get that little bit of core off of there, and then just dump them right into the Instapot. Okay, so that's the first apple down, and we have all these to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get busy on that. Now, another thing that I failed to mention is you're going to want a trash container where you can put your cores and any bad spots that you cut out of your apples. Okay, now that we have all of the apples cut up and they're inside the Instapot, we have all of our cores in the trash bowl over here, but I probably won't throw that into trash. You can use this in your compost, feed it to your chickens, or you can use it to add to some homemade apple cider vinegar, but that's for another video. Now, once we have all of the apples inside of the Instapot, then it's going to be time for the actual recipe. So let's go ahead and jump into that part. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over that list of ingredients. You're going to need 4 pounds of apples, a 1/3 cup of water, 1½ tablespoons of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice, and 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, so now that we've gathered all of our ingredients, the next simple step is just to dump them right into your Instapot. So I'm going to start with the 1/3 cup of water, the 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, and a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Now, I believe that it is the cloves and the allspice that gives it that deep, rich, old-fashioned flavor. But if you don't have cloves or you don't have allspice, you can replace one of those with pumpkin pie spice. So any of those will work. And now I'm going to add the 1 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to grab a spatula and give it a quick stir. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now let me show you what that looks like. My apples didn't quite make it to the fill line, but the important thing here is to not go over. I have to say, this already smells so delicious. I don't have power on my island, so I'm going to have to move this over to the countertop, and we'll go ahead and set it at 15 minutes, and then I'll check back with you. You're going to set your Instapot to pressure cook 15 minutes. Now be sure to set your valve to sealing. And once that's done cooking, you're going to allow it to natural release 20 minutes. Okay, so our Instapot has reached 20 minutes natural release. So I'm going to go ahead and push my button on the back and just make sure that we get the rest of that steam out of there. Okay, so now that the Instapot has pressure cooked our apples and they smell absolutely delicious, the next step is to use an immersion blender. You could use like a potato masher or something like that if you don't have one of these. If you're interested in getting one, I'll be sure to link one like mine down below. Mine is a KitchenAid. And if I don't find this exact one, I'll link one very similar. They're very handy to have, especially if you're going to be doing things like this. But let's go ahead, plug this in, and we're going to get this smooth. Now, some people may like chunks in their apple butter. I like mine to be the consistency of apple sauce. And so that's what I'm going to shoot for. Now, I do want to add to be very careful because this is extremely hot. Okay, now what you're going to see here is that this is a little runny. As you can see here, it's kind of soupy and definitely not the consistency that apple butter should be. But never fear, the next step is to put this on the saute. And as that warms up, you're going to want to give it a stir. And most recipes will recommend that you place the lid on here because this may start to spit and sputter and it's very hot and you don't want to get burned. So I'm going to stir it until it starts getting to that point, and then I'll put the lid on it and let it do its thing for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll check in on it. The longer this cooks, the thicker it'll get. So once you reach your desired thickness, we're going to go ahead and start filling our clean jars. To fill the jars, you will need a ladle and a jar funnel. Be sure to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. This old jar funnel that I'm using used to belong to my mom, and as you can tell, it has seen a lot of canning in its day. So I'm very honored to be able to include it in mine. Okay, so when you finish filling your jars, you're going to use white vinegar and a clean cloth or paper towel to wipe the top of the jars. Now just add the sanitized lids to each jar and place the rings on finger tight. This is your beautiful end product, and these make perfect gifts because unopened, these will last in the back of your refrigerator or in your freezer for up to a year. Now once you open one of these yummy jars, it's going to be good for about a month in your refrigerator. If you decide to take that extra step and water bath can this apple butter, then it's going to last years as shelf stable in your pantry. And that's exactly what I decided to do. So if you're interested in seeing that process, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Okay, so that wasn't too bad for spending one afternoon in the kitchen to make some good old-fashioned apple butter. Now, I know there's a lot of recipes out there that include apple butter in the Instapot that'll tell you apple butter in an hour. Don't let them lie to you. Cook time may be done in less than an hour, but when you take in consideration sanitizing your jars, peeling or coring your apples and dicing them all up, it takes a lot longer than 1 hour, but it's definitely a lot less time than the old-fashioned outdoor way. It's also faster than doing it in your crock pot or doing it on your stove top. So I love this recipe, I love the flavor, and I love the result. Before we say goodbye, I would just like to say that I would love to hear from you in the comments section. Do you have past memories or current experience of cooking your old-fashioned homemade apple butter outside in a cast iron pot over an open flame? Or have you always made it indoors? I'd love to know. Because I believe when you take those memories, whether inside or outside, and you combine it with the good, rich, old-fashioned flavor of these type of recipes, it just makes it that much better. So please share with us down below if you have any apple butter making memories or experiences. If you've never made apple butter, well, here you go. Now you have an easy recipe that anyone with an Instant Pot and a couple pounds of apples can make for themselves. If you plan on making this recipe, I would love to know that too. Just let me know in the comments if you're going to give it a try, or if you've already tried it, let me know how you liked it. Well, that's going to do it for today. I'm so glad that you spent some time with me in my kitchen, and I look so forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!